So this here is my PC. Yes, you guys saw my eGPU inside this before. I have stickers on it because I didn't know where to put them. But basically, I built this PC for like 500 bucks. I loved it way more than I ever loved my eGPU. And the reason that I loved it way more than my eGPU was because the eGPU had so many problems just getting it to like boot correctly and to just getting my computer to boot correctly, and to actually use the eGPU was such a pain. Kind of that whole entire thing is just kind of a turn off to me. So what I ended up doing is I ended up selling my eGPU, and I actually ended up selling my Mac and getting a gaming laptop instead. I got a GS43 MSI laptop, and so it's 14-inch. I got it to replace my 13-inch Mac and to replace this, so I didn't have to carry around this if I wanted to play games, and I didn't have to use my Mac anymore for video editing on Final Cut Pro. I just got something that could do it all. So I got an i7 GTX 1060 and everything in this beast of a machine, by the way. If you guys want to see what it looks like and everything. It's awesome. I actually really like it. I don't mind the 1080p display, and the keyboard is really great. I put Korean stickers on here, if you guys can see that. And just basically, this is a video about why I don't think you should get an eGPU if you're going to be doing gaming. If you're going to be doing gaming, build yourself a PC. If you have a Mac and you want to game, build yourself like a $300 PC with a Pentium, the cheapest motherboard you can find, a cheap graphics card, which is like a GTX 1050, which is actually really good for what you're getting for like 110 bucks. And just get like cheap components. You can even run by with 4 gigs of RAM if you need to. I haven't really used 4 gigs of RAM in like a long time, so I don't really know the performance difference that much. And now I'm using 16 gigs versus 8 gigs. I don't really notice any difference, to be honest, but it's probably actually a big difference. I just can't tell. Just not noticeable enough for me, but yeah, you could run by 4 gigs of RAM and everything. You could totally just build a cheap PC for like $200 or $300, and you could play all your video games and you'll be fine. You don't need the eGPU. I really am discouraging of the eGPU, just because it's not cost effective, and the eGPU is super buggy, like so buggy that it's a real pain. And until it's actually working correctly, like all the time, I don't think that an eGPU is worth it, or an eGPU setup at all. I just really am discouraging of that. And if you want to game, just build yourself a PC, please. Like, just do it. Don't watch my eGPU video. This is basically a video saying don't watch my eGPU video, the one that just hit 200,000 views. It's been a year now since I actually released that video. I'm gonna put this down real quick. And a year now I'm saying eGPUs are not worth it, and they're not worth your time. And I get so many questions and so many people watching those videos. I almost want to take down my videos, but since they can be somewhat educational, I kind of just want to leave them. I'm thinking about doing a remake video, maybe just cutting up that video even more than it was, because I don't have the eGPU and I don't use that Mac anymore. I actually sold it. So I won't be making any more eGPU videos, you guys. I just want to say I'll be making maybe some tech videos. I could do an eGPU with this because it has Thunderbolt 3, but I don't really see the point in that. It has a GTX 1060 and it would cost me quite a bit just to get the enclosure, and the GTX 950 doesn't even compare to the GTX 1060 in here. So pretty much it's not worth it for an eGPU. I got this computer for $1250. That's less than the cheapest 13-inch MacBook Pro. Actually, that's less money than the cheapest MacBook Pro you can get right now. So technically, if you guys really just want a game and you own a Mac, just switch to Windows already. Maybe you have some things on Mac OS that you need to use, but man, I just really like this computer, and I think that you can find alternatives and ways to get around not on Windows versus Mac OS. Like if you're a Mac OS person and you need to get something done on Mac OS and you can't do it on Windows, and there is no alternatives on Windows, then I'm sorry, but mostly from what I know, there's been alternatives for pretty much everything on Windows. But I don't know like what your situation is, but I really just think that if you're at least like a gamer, just get a gaming PC. If you're doing like productivity, I get the eGPU thing because I guess you work with a Mac and something like, MKBHD uses Final Cut Pro. And if you just need Final Cut Pro, like no matter what, then I guess you could do the eGPU thing. I don't really know how it all works with Final Cut Pro to get that running correctly and everything, but personally, I don't think it's worth it to buy Apple hardware anymore these days. They really cost a lot of money for not amazing specs, and you could really just find something better. Yeah guys, seriously, I don't think that an eGPU is worth it anymore. Please watch this video if you're watching that first video. I'm going to put links all over so that people will watch it.